Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of UC Weekly News. I'm your host, David Danto, and if things have gone the way we expect them to have gone, I'm not here right now. I and Dave Michels, who's joining me today, and Joel Mulpeter, who's joining me from Crestron, we are all inside the Fira in Barcelona and getting ready for a great ISE. So we wanted to take the time here on Monday because the show's not open yet to talk to Joel about what's going on, what can we expect from
I'm
Crestron.
exhausted. This hall is so big. Oh, we're not doing the fake thing. We said we're recording in advance. Okay. All
Yes, we
right.
are. We're being honest with people for a change.
Okay.
It's refreshing every once in a while. So, Joe, first remind everybody, what's your title? What do you do at Crestron?
Yeah, so I'm a senior director of product marketing. Look after all our commercial product lines, how we message those and talk about them, how we launch products, and ultimately as we stand, a couple of days away from ISE, how they get represented at our booths as well.
And I know that ISC, you followed the trend that a lot of companies are following to not announce products at the show, but to announce them before the show to give people a chance to think about them and then go and see what they've heard about. First of all, why do you do that? Do you think that's a better strategy?
Yeah, I mean, ISE is a big show, right? 80,000 people, give or take, that show up to that show, but there's a lot of people that don't get the opportunity to come to that show. So we like to launch a product in advance of the show when we can. We do a lot of demos. We have product out there. We have our sales team, plus our extended sales force through integrators and dealers out there talking about all these products. All that's happening concurrently whilst we're standing at a show, putting them on walls and doing all the social and all the things there as well. So it's really an effort just to get the products to more people in the most efficient way.
Okay. So give us the nutshell of the announcements. I wrote down when we had a conversation something like five of them, but you could also say there were three big ones. What's the gist of all of it?
Yeah, so we launched five total products or announced five total products. And really they're all based around this idea of engineering a culture of collaboration. And where that comes from is, as we look at the workplace today, if we look at learning spaces today, there's a lot of stuff happening. Hybrid work is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. But the need for those spaces is growing rapidly, right? We're seeing customers deploy these at scales we've never seen before into more spaces. So we really are talking about the products we make as being the infrastructure, the underlying glue that makes those collaboration spaces work. So all five products we talk about, they're all related to collaboration. They can all work together. They will extend some of our existing product lines. But it's really about how we can take all those products and help to make sure that if we're putting the right products and the right infrastructure into spaces, that ultimately culture and collaboration happens. And when collaboration happens, we know that culture thrives for our end customers.
Well, I completely agree with the pre-announce. I had trouble with the three-ring circus, and when you got hundreds of booths going on there, it makes no sense to try to do to compete with all the stuff. In fact, people want to know where to go when they're at the show. So that is I agree with. But you made five announcements. I attended your conference. I think I lost. I think I can remember three. So we're gonna have to go through these because I don't remember all five. You're gonna have to help me out here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was a lot. We tried to do it in a relatively short format, right? 30 minutes or so in the keynote, if anyone wants to check that out, plus some awesome write-ups that I know you guys helped write up some good information on those products that people can check out. But yeah, there was a lot in a small period of time. We knew that, but we're only just getting started. We've got more later on in 2026 as well as we keep making cool stuff.
So let's go through them. The first one was you have a new compute platform, right? The Collab Compute. To give us a sentence or two about that.
Yeah, so Collab Compute really is our platform for hybrid meetings, right? The core of the meeting space. It's running Teams rooms and Zoom rooms. We took a few approaches with this product. One was that we want to drive a consistent experience across meeting spaces. So that starts with the people in the room, right? They have to have a common experience at the same compute, no matter what type of meeting room they have. They get a consistent experience, removes friction, so they can have better meetings. But we also wanted to focus on how it was deployed and how it was installed with the other peripherals in the space as well. So we really drove consistency there in the way it can be installed in all those rooms. Same bracketry, same compute. Again, from an IT management standpoint, logging into the same device, managing the same device, all those things were really important to us. We also focused on professional AV on that product. So It has I/O on it, right? It has USB ports, it has HDMI outs and USB-C outs, it has content sharing inputs and network ports. All those things were very intentionally designed. And if you have a look at the compute in terms of, we call it a compute, but it's not a compute. It's purpose built for collaboration, purpose built for running these meetings. And it has the I/O you need to scale from a huddle space through to a high impact space. And then AI, super important, obviously, in today's context. The collab compute is running Intel Core Ultra processors, so it has edge AI on it, right? It has NPUs running on the compute. So we're ready for the future workload of AI as that shifts from the cloud to the edge and some hybrid in between. We're ready to take that on and run that in the room itself.
Did they give you Intel stock when you made that partnership?
We've been a long time partner of Intel at Crestron,
Because
so
it's really been going up. I don't know if you've seen that, but it is. Intel is just like, yeah, taking off, which is really impressive. But
yeah.
so when you say Pro AV, isn't that kind of redundant because it is an AV device, right? I mean, it's just a Pro device. Just call it a Pro device.
Yeah, when we say Pro AV, what we're kind of trying to separate from is a standardized compute, right? A compute that is really made to be a computer being shoehorned into a meeting room. What we're looking at here is taking a device and making sure that has the right I/O and the codec, more of that codec feel that we used to have, right? So, it has a DM Essentials port on it that you're obviously not going to find on anything else, but it has HDMI content ingest you wouldn't find on too many standard computes. From an output standpoint, we have four outputs, three HDMI, one USB-C. So we can do 21 by 9 displays on USB-C and 5K. So all the things we just need as an industry to design all the different types of spaces we end up trying to deploy Teams rooms and Zoom rooms into.
And
Okay.
your next product is you had announced that you were part of the MDEP partnership a while back, and now you're finally releasing an MDEP product, which is now, surprise, surprise, for Crestron, the touch panel. Tell us
Yep.
a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're launching the 80 series touchscreens as well. So there's a generational update in touchscreens, right? We've been making touchscreens for a while, or user input devices at Crestron, being a control system company. But the 80 series touchscreens is our latest generation of those. So yeah, built on MDEP. So we get to take advantage of the work the MDEP team at Microsoft has been doing with bringing that security posture forward and that standardization forward, and then the tools we use to deploy and manage those. But for us, it is our touch panel, right? It is doing what we do with room control, right? So walking in a room, automating, simplifying the space. But we also think about it as our UC interface, right? So as we run Teams and Zoom rooms, pairing with things like the cloud compute, it's running the interface for that, and then scheduling outside of the room as well with all those applications. And then our scheduling panels, built-in light bars, all those kind of things you'd expect. UC panels built for those UC applications. We do have a day two or release two feature coming to those as well, doing BYOD through the panel. So it'll come a little bit after launch. And then our standardized control as well. So really covering all those touch points of a meeting space.
That's great. It's interesting. So now the other ones I think are, well, no, you have the, let's do the NAX because that's a new platform, and then the other ones are just kind of enhancements to some of your other products. But what's the NAX story?
Yeah, so NAX is a audio platform. It's an ecosystem of devices. So it has a common core, this audio processor that you put in the room. It's the thing you log into, the thing where you do all the settings and set it all up. And then you pick the right peripherals that sit with that core. So that audio processor has things like pods that can connect to it. We have a partnership with Sennheiser with the TCCM. We have our PoE speakers as well in that mix, but you're really logging into that device, pairing the speakers, mics for the room, and that's your UC audio setup done. The hub has the USB out, connects to your codec, can connect to platforms like Air Media as well. But the whole point is to do everything off audio over IP. So the whole backbone of that system is leveraging our DMMBX AV over IP technology to extend the audio. And then we are really focused on a minimal time to audio. So when you plug these devices in and you pair them, you should have a minimal time to audio. Audio runs pretty much straight away, and you hear the far end, and you can talk to the far end as well. So really trying to simplify that deployment, and then making it modular. So we have a pod-like device that does the microphone and speaker. Can have one in a huddle space. If you need to add more, you simply plug in more, and you can go up to 8 total. So you can scale across room sizes as those room sizes change and adjust.
For all these, when are we going to see these products? Sometime, I guess, just before InfoComm?
Yeah, these are all shipping across really the first half of 26. So, compute and touch panels looking around the April timeframe. Some others are sitting in May as well, but definitely all before InfoComm.
Okay, and let's wrap it up with the last two products here. The or at least wrap up the list. You made some enhancements to your Automate VX, and you added a new camera as well, right? Why don't you just give us a quickie on that? Then I'll let Dave get in.
Yeah. Yep. So Automate VX, we added support for Panasonic cameras in that platform and some new microphones as we continue to expand the devices that can work with Automate VX. But one really important update we did was Auto Measure. So Auto Measure is using the computer vision inside of Automate VX. Automate VX is what we say spatially aware, right? It knows where the cameras and microphones are in the space. That's how it makes camera decisions. In this case, we're using Aruco cubes or Aruco markers that you mount to the microphones, and then you hit the auto measure button, and Automate VX goes and self measures itself instead of you having to run a tape measure and get all those measurements to understand the space. So we've taken deployment time from roughly 4 hours to something like 10, 15 minutes. Just trying to save time on deployment, allowing our pros to scale faster and deploy systems more efficiently. But that is a setup thing. That's really a deployment thing. It's just leveraging that internal computer vision inside of Automate VX. And then the i12D, that's a new camera in the One Beyond lineup. Kind of sits somewhere between Automate VX with its multi-camera and a single camera solution. It's a dual head PTZ camera, has things like speaker tracking built into it, group framing, and can also expand out to other external cameras over the network as well with what we call intelligent switching. So really quite a scalable platform, but sits in between that full-blown Automate VX 5, 6 camera setup and somewhere between a single camera.
Those are the One Beyond, right?
Yep, yeah. Part of the One Beyond lineup looks the same, feels the same as those cameras. So very familiar. If you're doing single camera in some rooms,
They look great. I
others.
like the way they look. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does all of that blend in with your talking points from last year, the three C's and the True Blue, and is this all part of the same family?
Yeah, it certainly does. Yeah, our three Cs are still alive and present. They're definitely part of the show. In fact, printed up on the walls is content, collaboration, and control as you walk around the booth. A lot of these products sit in that collaboration sector, right? The camera, the audio, collab compute, all sitting in collaboration. Touch panels, control, and then AV over IP. Sorry, for content, we have some updates to AV over IP we're bringing to the show as well, some more minor updates, but they're coming to the show as well. That's one part of that launch moment.
Now we've covered all five, right? I lost count again. We covered all. Okay, we've covered all five, and they're not that big. They're physically not that big, but yet you have this enormous booth or stand at ISE. What's going on in that facility you've got there? And are you renting out conference rooms to other companies or something? Or what just a huge. I've never seen a booth that big, actually. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, we do have some floor space. We do represent residential and commercial when we go to ISE as opposed to Infocom that's purely commercial. So there's a residential part to the booth as well for our residential and hospitality products.
So all the Crestron employees sleep there too? Is that you running a little hotel in there?
That would be efficient. That would be efficient. Yeah, no, we try to represent every product we have, right? So we just want to make sure when you come to a Crestron booth, you're seeing the whole lineup of the most important products in all their glory. We also want to make sure we have some experience spaces. So it's always having that nice mash between product walls, product demos, and having experiences where we're bringing those technologies and products together for a use case. So we have a use case for hospitality with AV over IP, a boardroom, and a training room, all set up in this space.
So you'll be able to see the collab compute in action with the One Beyond cameras.
Yep. All of that will be present at the show. Everything we launched as that moment will be there to see. You can pick it up, touch it, feel it, ask all our subject matter experts.
Well, now I feel silly booking an airplane ticket. I should have just connected remotely.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little hard to get the experience of ISE remotely, and trust me, I'm the one who walks in wearing a polo shirt that says, this should have been a video call. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the experience just for a second? So we're going to walk in through the main entrance of the Fira, and the first hall that you have, the hall 1 to the right, hall 2 right in front of you. You walk through the hall 2 corridor, or you walk above, whether you're on the roadway, and you guys are right at the beginning of the hall 3 to the right as you walk in, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so there's a main thoroughfare that takes you between halls, and then there's always a main one that cuts through the middle of the halls as you're heading right in the middle of hall three, or as you set down those escalators just to the right-hand side, is kind of the top of our booth. And then yeah, as you walk around that main thoroughfare, cutting down the middle of the booth, you see our reception. You can split off to commercial or split off to residential, and that's kind of where the journey starts.
I think that's all of ISE, as I recall. There's a few halls and it ends at hall three. There's no need to keep going.
No, there is an innovation center. Sometimes there are exciting companies and people there, and there are other halls, and you never know if you're going to want to buy a consumer television or figure out how to string lights across your patio or something. But as far as we're concerned in meetings, we're pretty much done in hall 1, 2, and 3. So yes, Crestron is the end of or the beginning, depending upon how you look at it, of the experience that we care about at the show. And in fact, this year, let me play the animation just for a second. Cut in over there. So this year, Crestron is another one of our pick hits from the show, which again, we're telling you, if you're at ISE and you see these, in a stand or on a booth, go take a look at it. It's important messaging. That's really how we're showcasing what's going on, and we think a lot of these messages are very important, especially considering how many competitors have built up in the industry against Crestron, and Crestron has been around for so many years, and you're still innovating in many ways above and beyond what some of the other companies are doing. So we think it's important messaging that people should go see.
Yeah, where I think the industry's ever evolving, which is good for all of us, right? Continuing to see new players come in and growing every day. There's enough business out there for all of us, I think, as we all grow. The reality is we have to scale and do more as an industry to deploy more of these rooms faster. The need's there, so we've got to work out how to do it.
Excellent. Well, my first criteria really is the kind of candy you have in the stand, but my second criteria is indeed the products, and I think you qualify on the second criteria, so I will definitely be there.
All right. Well, as long as we're mentioning it, is there any swag for people to come to take a look at? Any idea?
We always have little bits and pieces at reception, so going up and asking our awesome reception team. There's about 10 or 12 people in that team that make sure our customers come in and wait for their sales rep and take care of them in our hospitality area, where we usually have coffee and beer and drinks and other things. So always good to drop in there and grab any of that stuff.
Yeah, you're going to make me cry going to the reception area and not having Roseanne there like she has been for so many years. But I know she's retired and having a good time. So I'm sure there will be qualified and wonderful people there anyway.
I'm sure she'll be asking for photos still. She's that passionate. She probably still wants to make sure it's all running smoothly.
Absolutely. So anything else you would want people to know if they're watching this on Monday and they're in Barcelona or not in Barcelona? What would your advice be? What would your input be?
It would be obviously come across to the Crestron booth, check the stuff out. If you miss out on getting to the Crestron booth or you don't spend enough time there, obviously reach out to any one of our salespeople, sales staff, or anyone in the company. We'll find a way to get those products to you, so we can show them and talk about them. And other than that, if you're in Spain, enjoy some tapas and enjoy the warmer weather as well for a lot of people. So.
And as you were telling us before we started, if you're not in Spain, you've got the announcement video up on your website, right? Do you know what the link is for that?
Yeah, it is on our website. There's a bunch of banners. It's called Engineering a Culture of Collaboration. It should be pretty easy to find with a search from there. Inside of there's the keynote we played on Jan 20th. And then we also have a webinar series that goes a deeper dive into each one of these products. It's all happening after ISE, so you can register for those at the same time. Those are kind of 2 weeks apart, starting from the end of Feb till sometime in May.
Crestron.com.
Yep.
Awesome. Dave, anything else on your end?
No, I'm going to practice counting, but no, I'm looking forward to it. Be great.
Awesome. Joel, thank you very much for joining us. We will try and make this an annual thing. This is 2 years in a row. You kind of gave us the preview to ISE. We will all be there in the FIRA from I'll be there from Monday, but from Monday through to Friday, and look forward to getting our hands on some of the things that you described here.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Looking forward to it.
And thank you for watching as you do every week for Talking Points and Dave Michels. I'm Dave Danto. Thanks for watching. Next week will be the big wrap-up show from ISE. We'll show you all the things that we found as we were walking around and the rest of our pick hits. Take care. We'll see you then.